God is at work everywhere, where his fingerprints are everywhere. When we set our mind on things above, we can notice God's fingerprints in just about anything. This is how we shift from earth to heavenly matters. The second mentality that I want to offer you today is heaven mentality is second, a shift from earthly matters. It doesn't just begin when my identity changes. That's what God has done. Now he's going to ask us to do some things. That's right. It's not legalism for God to ask you to do things. Like any good father, he tells people to do, his kids to do stuff. We do it. We obey. Look at verse 2. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. Pretty straightforward. Things on earth. What is earth? Well, earth is the realm that experiences all the damage of sin. Both sin we've committed and sin committed against us. It's a place of damage. Sin destroys. It steals. It kills. And God wants better for people on earth than earth. God wants to give us heaven. So don't let the hell of earth rob you of the heaven of life with Christ. We have to shift from earthly matters to a heaven mentality. One commentator said it this way, that the Christian has to keep his feet upon the earth, but his head in the heavens. That we're here, but we're also there. We do that by setting our minds, shifting our minds from earth to heaven. Why does God want us to do that? Why does he want us to set our mind? Because what you think about matters. What you dwell on, what you choose to think about is significant. You are actually responsible for the thoughts that you think. Just because a thought enters your head doesn't mean you have to entertain it any longer. You can actually take that thought and say, nope, not going to think about that. Because you are responsible for setting your mind. But you can't do that alone. Remember, set y'all's minds. Again, this is plural. If you try to do this by yourself, you might work yourself up into thinking things that are not true about God. You need a community to rally around you in this. And so that's where the church is. We're here to help guide you in making sure we're setting our minds on the right things. The invasion of heaven into your mind is a group project. And there's examples of this, right? This is where when you think about heaven, when you set your mind on heaven, that you can serve 3 days a week here at church. You're at rehearsal from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Wednesdays and 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Thursdays doing Salt Company. Then you get here at Sundays at 6:30 a.m. Oh, by the way, that's our worship team schedule, by the way. When you're set on heaven, you do things like that. Not only that, when you think about heaven, you could have a family member who completely disowns you, who won't talk to you anymore, who thinks that you choosing to be a part of Saint City is a rejection of them. But when you set your mind on heaven, not on earth, you can endure. And you can forgive. What happens when you think about heaven is, because you know you have heaven with all your Christian friends who you would love to spend extra time with, you intentionally spend time with people who do not yet know Jesus. That when you set your mind on the things above, things change and they shift in your life. God built us to notice his fingerprints all over our lives. He doesn't try to make it hard for us to set our minds on heaven. He tries to make it as easy as possible. Because the Bible does call us sheep, by the way, which is not the most intelligent of animals. And so God makes it easy on people like me. Now, psychologists would call this a certain phenomenon. It's the moment where your brain locks onto something. Maybe it's the kind of car, you just got a new car. You're like, man, I got a 4Runner. And all of a sudden you see 4Runners everywhere. If you notice this, maybe it's the color of your car. Maybe it's the kind of shirt that you bought. It's a psychological phenomenon that happens. And God, I believe, that's not just a phenomenon that's supposed to happen like this. I believe it's intended by God. He created our minds to be like that, to notice heaven everywhere. where God is at work everywhere, where his fingerprints are everywhere. Saint City, when we set our mind on things above, we can notice God's fingerprints in just about anything. This is how we shift from earth to heavenly matters. So I want to play a little game with you guys this morning to help make it really clear. Thumbs up if it's about heaven, thumbs down if it's about earth, okay? We're going to make it easy. Thing above or thing on earth, ready? My family. Okay? People last into eternity, so that's a helpful one to know, okay? Easier one, my golf game. Thing on earth, right? Ready? My neighbor. My Bible. My vacation. My financial hardship. My eternal reward. Going out for dinner tonight. Going out for dinner to encourage somebody to follow Jesus. What other people think of me. What other people think about Jesus. You see, just about anything can be redeemed to be thought about with heaven in mind. But there is a way to think about the earth in a way that's only about earth. Let's have a heaven mentality that shifts from earthly matters to things that are above. Let's not be stuck just here in the now. Let's think about eternity when we're living our lives, because Christians have a heaven mentality, a shift from earthly matters.